Good morning, Collective Kids, and welcome to Sundays with Miss Abby
and Miss Margaret.
As you guys may know, Ziggy is not with us this week. We dropped him off at the airport because he deserved a vacation. Yes. So he is off to Africa to visit his parents. His parents live there. Fun fact.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So Abby, it'll be so much fun. It'll probably be warmer than all this rain.
Yeah, most likely.
I hope. I mean,
for him.
Yeah, for him. I think he deserves a little bit of sun, maybe like a little tan, soaking in the sun, maybe some dust baths. Yeah, it's like a spa out there. It's wonderful. So Abby, what are you up to this week?
A lot of the sheep at the farm where I live, they had their lambs. And so that's been really fun just to watch them running around together, and they're so cute.
Baby lambs.
I love them a lot.
They're so cute. They're like,
yeah.
And then they just like jump around all over.
Kind of bounce. It's really cute.
Gosh, it's like a giant trampoline everywhere they are. I love it.
How about you? What did you do?
What did I do? Elliot started crawling this week. So I've just kind of been renovating my house, essentially, moving everything so he can't touch it. I've bolted all the shelves to the walls so he can't pull anything on top of himself. So my house is just never going to be clean.
He's getting too big.
He is a giant. He's got a doctor's appointment coming up, and I'm pretty sure he's going to weigh like 30 million pounds. That's just reality. He is a chunky baby.
Chunky is the best, though.
Yeah, it is. And he started snorting when he laughs, so it's so cute. I just want to tickle him all day, but then he gets mad at me because I'm tickling him. You know, right? He just gets annoyed. Okay. It's fine.
Should we get into the story?
Yes, let's do it. What are we learning about this week?
This week's story comes from the book of Genesis, chapter 25, with Esau, where we continue our series on patience. And like we've learned the past couple weeks, patience is waiting until later for something that we want now. So a lot of the time, patience can be really hard, like we were talking about last week with baking, waiting for the cookies.
All the cookie dough.
Yeah, waiting for them to bake is really hard.
Yeah.
But I thought, when you're in school, waiting for spring break and for summer to come, I always thought that was really hard to wait for too.
Yep.
But there are a lot of different things in life where it takes a great amount of patience, and the story we're going to learn about today is a great example of that. So let's check out the story and listen to how Esau learned how important patience can be.
The Bible, it's 66 books of history, stories, letters, and poetry that fit together to form God's one big story. The epic adventure of how He created us and loves us so much that He made a way to rescue us. As we travel through the Bible, from Genesis to Revelation, we discover people who met God and found their lives changed forever. Now, for an amazing story inspired by the book of Genesis. Chapter 25, verses 24 through 34.
When Abraham's son Isaac grew up, he married a girl named Rebecca. But it didn't seem as though they'd be able to have children.
Please, God, give us children.
But God answered Isaac's prayers, and Rebecca became pregnant with twins.
Isaac, I'm pretty sure they're having a wrestling match in here.
Oh, definitely boys.
Rebecca asked God about the struggle she could feel. He told her,
2 nations are in your body. One nation will be stronger than the other. The older son will serve the younger one.
When it was time for the babies to be born, they came out fighting. Esau was born first. He came out with a strong set of lungs and a head full of red hair. His brother Jacob was born moments later, still holding on to Esau's heel.
How on earth did he manage that?
The brothers shared the same birthday, but as they grew, that was about the only thing they had in common. Esau loved to roam far out into the wilderness.
I would walk 500 miles and I would walk 500 more.
Jacob preferred the comforts of home.
The sun is so hot. I'll just take a little nap in the tent.
Esau loved to hunt wild animals.
That is one excellent wildebeest.
Jacob preferred a different type of hunting.
Not you, not you. Ha! The perfect ripe honeydew melon.
One fine morning, Esau headed out into the wilds in search of adventure and some nice, juicy venison.
I'll feast tonight.
But Esau went all morning without spotting a single rabbit.
Ugh, should have packed a lunch.
In the afternoon, he tracked a deer for hours, but he missed his chance as the deer sprang away.
Ah!
At last, Esau headed for home, defeated. He was tired and irritated and so hungry he could eat an entire woolly mammoth.
Must eat food.
As Esau neared camp, a delicious smell wafted out to greet him.
Food!
Jacob had been home all day, resting and plucking his favorite herbs from his garden.
A little coriander, some dill.
As evening approached, Jacob used his savory herbs to whip up a tasty red lentil stew and a batch of fresh, buttery bread.
This will crisp up nicely on the hot stones.
By the time Esau had arrived in camp, Jacob's stew was simmered to perfection, and the bread was hot and crusty.
Food! Food!
Esau lunged for the stew cauldron, ready to grab a bowl, but Jacob blocked his path.
Not so fast.
Step aside, I'm hungry.
Clearly.
Just let me have some of that red stew.
Certainly.
Esau tried to dive for the stew pot again.
Just one itty-bitty thing.
What?
Well, first, give me the rights that belong to you as the oldest son.
Esau spent more time listening to his stomach than his brain. So in that moment, his stomach won out.
Look, I'm dying of hunger. If I die, those rights are pointless anyway. Now give me that stew.
Esau sprang forward once more.
Promise to give me your rights.
Fine.
Fine what?
Fine, I promise.
Promise what?
I promise to give you my rights as the oldest.
Cool. Help yourself.
Jacob stepped aside as Esau hurled himself at the stew pot.
Stew!
Esau happily gorged himself on rich stew and fresh bread. But as his stomach filled up, he had time to stop and think again. Esau had just traded the rights of a lifetime for a meal that would only last him a few hours.
All right. I always love hearing that story.
Me too.
Esau demonstrated what it means to have great patience, which God gave to him. And that's why this week's bottom line is, if you don't wait, it'll cost you. Have you ever given up on something really important because you just couldn't wait until later?
I think we all have.
I'm pretty sure I've done it twice this week, probably. I don't remember, but it's very possible. Whenever you're faced with a situation when you really need patience, it's really important to remember that God provides us with what we need, and he does that in his perfect timing, not ours. So even if we think it's really important to do it right that second, he's got a plan for us, and sometimes it just includes a little bit of patience and waiting. And we pray that this week you'll ask God to help you have the patience that we need in order to wait. So we love you guys. We miss you guys. And we will catch you on the flip side.